Hey guys, this is just a quick edit to the video. We actually figured out how to cheese taming a little bit after I already started this guide. So if you want to actually go ahead and watch the guide, go ahead and make sure you guys check out this entire thing. It will walk you through the entire process of taming. If you guys just want to see how to kind of cheese it, the best way to actually tame, jump to about 15:45. Otherwise, go ahead and enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Hey team, thanks for coming and taking a look at another video with me today. So we're going to go ahead and cover some of the basics on how to tame in Rend. This is one of the little bit more in-depth videos, and I apologize beforehand as I completely forgot to take off my Steam overlay on part of the video here. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and talk about a lot of the items you're going to actually need to prepare to actually get taming. Here's a quick list, and then we'll go ahead and look at some of the items available from the actual Spirit Lodge, which is what they actually call the crafting station here to tame, or for the taming items in Rend. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about doing this. So recently they actually went ahead and added a bow, specifically for taming. I would definitely recommend going ahead and getting this bow first, but if you need to do this a little bit more of a budget, the bow's not too expensive, but you can still go ahead and do it the old way, which is craft the very first tier bow. That's the very basic one that you crafted when you first started the game. So the idea here to actually tame in Rend is you're going to first need to tag the actual creature. You can do that with what's called a taming crystal. We'll go over each one of these items a little bit more in depth here in a minute, but you're going to tag the creature, and then you're going to go ahead and kill it in the normal world. After you kill it in the normal world, what happens is the item actually is sent, or the creature is sent over to the actual spirit world, and you're actually going to need to follow it over there. So you'll actually need a way to get in there. You can do that through a number of different things. You can eat some of the mushrooms, you can do some of the potions, or you can use a shaman to actually get to the spirit world. Once you're in there, you're going to need the lower tier bow or the taming bow to be able to use spirit arrows and actually get the creature. That's the basics of it. You'll shoot it, there's going to be a taming bar, and as that taming bar fills up, once that's full, as long as you haven't killed it first, you'll actually succeed in the tame. So let's jump into this a little bit deeper and I'll show you some of the items. So the very first thing here is the actual bow. Here's what it is, here's what it looks like, and this is what you're going to need to be able to craft it. Now, all of the items you're going to need for taming should be found here on this screen. So the next thing that we're going to actually need is the taming crystal. This is a medium range weapon, so you actually do have to get a little bit closer to actually tag creatures with it. And what you're going to need to do, or what you will do, is you'll actually use this to tag them before killing them. That's what actually sends it to the spirit world instead of making it a node that you can actually harvest from. It basically just tags it, and then you should be good to go. You'll see that here in just a couple of minutes. The next thing you're going to need is actually a way to get into the spirit world, which we kind of covered already. You can do this by having a shaman open some sort of portal, use any of the potions that you have here in the game. I'll show you one of them here on the actual screen, and then, or you can actually find some of the random wilderness ones. So they do have random wilderness portals. I don't know the actual time. I've never sat through one of them. First, I would have to actually see it open right off the bat, and there's no way for me to actually know. So it might be on a timer, it might not. I've seen them anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes, it seems like, and that's just going to be a random guess here though. So be careful. You don't want to actually get stuck in there, as you will die, and your body stays in the spirit world if you die in the spirit world. So you'll need another way to actually get back into the spirit world to recover that. Alright, and the last essential item that you're actually going to need are the spirit arrows. Now, there's a couple, or there's actually a lot more items here that we'll talk about in just a couple of minutes, and we'll cover all of the items here on the table. However, these arrows are what you're actually going to need when you enter the spirit world. These are what you're going to shoot at the animal. You'll shoot this with either the basic bow or again the taming bow, which is the preferred method, until you've actually filled up the taming meter. We'll go over each one of the items a little bit more now. Okay, so looking at the actual arrows, there's 4 tiers of arrows currently. You'll need to unlock each one of the different tiers through the research of the actual mystic tree, but we're not going to actually cover the mystic tree or the research, so just know that you do have to unlock each one through there. The first tier of arrows just provides 2 taming points per stack, which means per arrow, to a spirit creature every second for 5 seconds. Now, I don't know if these actually stack. We've tried it a couple of times to see if they stack, so if you shoot them back to back to back, and we haven't been able to get a confirmation on that. So I would recommend trying it a couple of times, just testing it out. I know in other survival games like Ark, for example, you'll wait 5 seconds between shots so you don't kill it. Yeah, I'd recommend probably, trying maybe 3-4 seconds between on each one of these. It may or may not stack, and I don't want to give false information here, especially because everything still is kind of a test by, trial by fire kind of situation right now. But by per stack, it just means per arrow. So just like in Ark, you should wait about 3 seconds between arrows. The enchanted spirit arrows, which are these second tier arrows, actually provide 5 taming points per second for every 5 seconds. Basically, this gives you about a 150% chance better taming efficiency and actually helps out a lot. The mystical tier, which is tier 3 arrows, provides 8 taming points per arrow. And lastly, the tier 4 runic arrow actually provides 15 taming points per stack. Keep in mind that your damage will start to scale with your unlocked skills and your weapons. So in order to keep taming things, the higher tier mobs, you will actually need the higher tier arrows, or you may actually start getting kills, or you're going to get killed, one of the two, before you actually get the actual finishing product on that tame. So it's definitely recommended if you're going to tame some of the higher tier creatures. I would recommend, like, say the Valhalla creatures, for example. You're probably going to want some of these higher tier arrows. There are a couple like little tricks that you could do in order to actually make it a little bit easier for you, but we're not going to go over those. Those are kind of glitchy and they'll probably get fixed. So just think long term. If you're taming like a tier 2 creature, you're probably going to want tier 2 arrows, tier 3, tier 4, and so on and so forth. Alright, so the other weapon that you're actually going to want to look at to help you with taming is the Spirit Siphon. There are 4 tiers of these as well, and they should actually go ahead and greatly increase your odds of actually taming a creature. Now, I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. We've tested these quite a few times, so while the tooltip says that it adds and increases taming progress, we haven't really noticed it doing it much for us. So we've tested a few different times, and I'm going to guess at the moment that it's probably not working. This will probably change here in the future, so it is worth including them here in the video. They're, again, 4 tiers, and the first one's going to increase your taming by 1%, the second by 2%, the tier 3 by 3%, and as you guessed it, the tier 4 is going to increase it by 4%. These are a little expensive, and until you can actually confirm that they work, I might test them maybe on like a test server. I don't recommend it making anything past the tier 1. Now, I'll give you some speculation. Some people feel like if you use a second person with the Spirit Siphon to actually shoot at that tame, it will increase the first person's taming efficiency on that. However, we haven't been able to confirm that. It seems like whenever a second person does anything with the tame, it actually starts a second progress bar for them. So basically, whoever ends up filling up their progress bar first actually gets the tame. So there are multiple actually different taming bars per person. So unless you can actually figure out exactly how these work, which we haven't yet, you may actually just be able to go up and shoot a tame yourself. You can give that a shot, but unfortunately there's no sort of debuffs or marks or anything like that showing that it actually is doing anything for you. My recommendation at the moment would probably just try and avoid these at the moment because they are a little bit more expensive. Now, let's go and jump to the next one. So this is the actual taming crystal. Again, these aren't too expensive, and this is the item we talked about before. So you will need one of these to be able to actually tag the creatures in order to tame them in the spirit world. Now, you do tame them before you send them to the spirit world. So think of it like this. Basically, you shoot this. Again, it's a medium range weapon. You shoot this, you use it from your hotbar, and then you're just going to go ahead and shoot it at the creature, and then you'll see a little floating blue balls kind of at the bottom of the screen there. So I would actually recommend just keeping one of these around you just in case you do decide to see, you run into something with high taming efficiency. Alright, so we did go ahead and say that we would mention some of these other items. Now, there are a lot of random items in here, such as the lures. However, we tested these again quite extensively. We can't either A, figure out how they work, or B, they just don't work. So our ideas with the lures, for example, they might bring the animals to the lure so that we'd be able to hit them a little bit easier. We're not really quite sure how these are supposed to work. Maybe they're actually for the lost. I'm not really sure. As this is still early access, literally, just a couple days into early access when this video is being released, it's likely that they'll end up changing them a little bit. So as we find something out here, I'll actually go ahead and post in the comments below so you guys actually can see how those work, especially if they're really efficient. Unfortunately, we just haven't been able to figure out how they're actually working for us as of yet, and there's not a tooltip for these specific things. So we're going to go ahead and skip most of those for now, just to make this video a little bit shorter for you. So keeping that in mind, there's only going to be 2 more items here I'd really like to cover with you on the crafting table. First is going to be the potion of the other side. This potion actually allows you to travel to the spirit world for 1 minute. This is likely what you're going to be using to tame your first couple of animals if you're not using potions. If you don't have a shaman buddy or a tribe mate that can already do it for you, that is. Now, keep in mind that you can actually stack these potions, so make sure you drink enough to actually stay in there to tame your animal. So, for example, if you eat 2 of them or 3 of them, you'll stay in there 2 to 3 minutes. The last item here is going to be the other potion that you may use, which is the potion of crossing. This is the higher tier potion, which is still relatively easy to craft. This potion will actually make it so you go into the spirit world permanently, and you actually have to use a second one to come back out. So This is actually going to be probably your better option late game, especially if you don't know how long something's going to be able to, to take to tame. So I do recommend, using some of these. Mushrooms are pretty relatively easy to get in the Highlands right now as well, but again, could be something that changes a little bit later on. So you will need a couple of these to actually do it. I do want to mention here that there is a bug currently in the game where if you eat or do anything that actually increases your spirit time. So if you, let's say for example, you do one of these spirits potions that make you stay in there for a minute, you go in there, you start taming something, and you drink another one, it will actually reset your taming bar. So I would recommend doing as many as you think you're going to need at the start of it. That way you don't have that issue. Okay, so let's go ahead and, we've gone through all the items. I want to just cover what you're going to need one more time. So you're going to need a bow, either the tier 1 bow or the taming bow, the spirit arrows, a taming crystal, and a way to get in and out of the spirit world, which again, if you're not a shaman, is probably going to be one of those potions. Once you have all of these, let's go ahead and look for something to actually tame. So I'm going to show you that process now. Okay, so here's probably one of the biggest tips for you. So if what you're going to do is you actually take out your bow and you hover it over a creature, it'll actually have both a level and a taming rating. The creature's level is always going to go back to 1 when it's tamed. So what you're going to want to focus on here is the actual tame rating. This is what indicates how strong it actually is, meaning like how high its health is, its carry weight, stamina, those kind of things. You notice in the video here, we have 2 wolves. So if I hover over this wolf, it's got 266, but the other one only has 80. Clearly, you're going to want the one with 266. We believe that the rating range from someplace between 1 and 1,000. We haven't seen anything over 1,000, and the lowest one I've seen so far is 5. So the higher rating, the harder the creature is going to be for you to tame it as well. They did implement that recently. So the higher something is, if you're trying to just tame something early, I'd recommend low, or something low with low rating. But if you're trying to tame something with really good stats, again, you're going to look for those higher ratings, but they will take you more arrows, and they're going to be a little bit more difficult for you to actually tame. So with that out of the way, let's actually try and tame something here. First, you need to actually get close enough to use your taming crystal. This is again a medium range item, so you'll need to get into aggro range in order to use it. Once it's tagged, you're going to go ahead and see those blue circles around the monster's feet. As soon as you can see those tags, feel free to go ahead and kill the animal, which is going to send it directly to the spirit world. In this case, we'll just use a few potions. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have the highest tier arrows, you may very well kill everything here that you try and tame. Unfortunately, since I'm actually doing this on a high rate server, I'm actually I am already past that point. So I'm not going to actually be able to tame the creature currently because we don't actually have the higher tier arrows unlocked. I'm going to show you what this looks like right now, but you'll get the basic idea from watching me shoot the animal here and actually see that taming bar start to fill up. You'll also notice that he has a little blue taming bar right under his health bar. It's important that you do not get critical hits on these guys, so try and aim away from their critical hits. So for example, on the wolf, it's the head. Try not to hit the head if you're trying to tame the wolf, because it does not increase your taming efficiency, and it's actually going to increase the odds that you actually kill the animal instead. In this part of the video, you'll notice that I end up actually killing the turtle with literally no taming progress. This is probably going to be a common mistake, so I left it in the video just to show you guys. When I entered the spirit realm, I completely forgot to actually switch to my spirit arrows, which means I just killed the thing instead of actually taming it. Luckily for this particular video, there was actually a Yixin in here for some reason. I didn't tag it. You'll notice that sometimes there are creatures in here, but if you're actually going to go ahead and I'll just quickly show you how and what the actual taming bar actually looks like before my potions wear off. So note here that there is an issue that if you drink a new potion, again, the taming, or while you're taming the creature, it does reset the taming progress. So I'd recommend drinking however many potions that you think you're going to need before you actually start taming something. Since I wasn't able to actually successfully tame without the higher tier elves, I'm just going to go ahead and skip the successful part and show you what it actually looks like. I did have a Yixin that I've got on an official server, and we're really not going to be skipping too much because you actually know how to do the taming now. You just actually need the successful taming pop-up, which is not on the screen when it hits 100%. I actually want to note here as well that if you are having an issue taming by yourself, get a buddy to come in here with you and have them use some of those tangle shot arrows. That will actually slow the creature for you so you don't have to kite it as much, and it makes it a little bit easier. Now, once you actually gone ahead and successfully tamed something, you actually need to head back to your faction city and go to the spirit stables. Instead of the little hut, inside of the little hut you'll need to step foot on this little floor altar. Step up onto the altar and hit the O key. From here, you'll actually see the animals you tamed. Go ahead and click on whatever animal that you've just tamed and hit the set to active at the bottom of your screen. This will actually make the tame available to you to use, and until you do this step, you won't be able to use it even though you've already tamed it. Hey, congratulations! You've actually gone ahead and got your first tame. So, Here's a little quick hotkey rundown for you. Hitting the Z key will summon your Tame. Hitting the Z key while your Tame is already out and within range will allow you to mount the animal. Hitting the U key will open up its inventory, and hitting the O key will give you the basic stats just like we saw before. The last key you'll actually want to learn is the V key. This key gives you the pop-up that allows you to hit any of the additional commands for your Tame. Now there's a couple of different of the commands in here. I'm not going to go over each one of them, but just a basic idea. You'll be able to tell your pet to stay, you'll be able to tell it to harvest, you'll be able to tell it to follow, you'll be able to tell it to be passive or aggressive, things like that. Alright team, so that pretty much covers the basics of taming here in Rend. Now keep in mind that these animals really aren't super great in terms of the AI right now. I'm sure that they're planned to be a little bit better because there are a lot of perks in the Pathfinder tree exclusively that actually make them pretty good. But you know, they are going to actually work on that. I'm sure you'll see some better AI coming out here soon. Many of them can actually harvest different types of nodes, which is probably the most useful part to you right now. That in itself might be able to, that you might not actually be able to access yet. So for example, if you get the ram can actually harvest tier 3 stone before you unlock the tier 3 pick. So I'm not going to go ahead and spoil too many more of them for you. I do want you guys to kind of get out there and learn some of the things yourself. The only other recommendation would be turtles. Turtles are great for weight. So it's kind of the last little hint I'll give you there. Hey guys, really quick, so I'm actually interjecting on my own video here. I was recording this video, I had everything ready to go, and we kind of figured a couple of quick things out. So on the screen right now, what you're going to see is we're actually taming a glut. And as the title says here, I'm going to show you the best way, well, easiest, cheesiest way to actually tame something. So we actually got a little base out here set up. What we did is we went ahead and tagged the glut. It's almost ready to die, and if you'll watch this, there we go. We just sent it to the taming world. It wasn't able to follow us. It wasn't able to get us. It wasn't able to do anything. Now we're going to go ahead and actually enter the portal here, and then we're actually going to go ahead and start Tame again. So I don't know if this is pretty common, but there's obviously there's nothing here to attack us, and the glut is literally right outside of the door here. It does take a second to get it loaded up here. So I'll go ahead and show you that part here really quick. So we actually just have to walk back through the door here, and then check this out. So I've literally gotten into a spot where it's trying to hit me, it can't hit me. I'm actually waiting the couple of seconds between shots, and I'm actually successfully taming this. So the bar is going up pretty quickly. It's not hurting me. I don't have to chase it. It doesn't have to chase me, and this makes it super easy. So this is just a little bonus clip here for you guys. I'm going to show you a quick cheesy way to do it. As you can see there, taming bar is way above what its actual health drop is. I'd just, again, recommend maybe 3 seconds between each shot, 2-3 seconds, and then go ahead and keep hitting it. I'll speed through this really quick so you guys can actually see the end, and then we'll wrap up the video. Thanks for watching. I'd also like to mention that, you know, we are actually streaming the game pretty consistently now, mostly on the weeknight and during the day on the weekend. So I would actually, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help them. You guys know that's kind of what I do here on the YouTube channel anyway. So don't hesitate to hit us up. Just check us out here on the stream. It's just twitch.tv/Phae, and hit us with that follow over there. We'll help, you know, we're happy to help you guys out pretty much whenever. You guys know me, I do this kind of thing all day. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more of our game tutorials and some of the little adventures that we're doing here on the side, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.